that out. No, the show's not ending. We're going to go to the next call. Who would you like to talk to?
Let's see who's been waiting for a bit. Let's talk to Shane.
All right. Shane in California. You're live with Eric and V. How are you doing?
Shane?
Shane going once. Shane going twice. Shane, we're popping you back on hold. Okay. I mean, hey, Satan, in Oregon or hell?
Oh my God, I'm on.
Why Satan, though?
Well, I decided on Satan because it was something that I grew up fearing, and so I kind of turned it on my head as an alias.
Okay.
To call into shows like this. I called in to Truth Wanted once. I made a fool of myself. Like a really ignorant fool of myself. But then I watched that episode a few times and I was like, oh my goodness, I could do better. So, time for the topic at hand.
Dude.
Which I'm calling about the windows into my mind.
Okay, two things really quick before we dive in. Number one, I totally feel you on the feeling like a fool. That's how I feel with all of the early episodes of Talk Heathen and most of the episodes of current Talk Heathen. Number two, when you call in with the name Satan, I understand that you're kind of reclaiming that. But man, I was thinking this is a troll. It sets off the troll alarms. But once you start talking, it sounds like you're a pretty authentic dude, and I'm pretty happy to talk to you. Third, you're talking about windows into your mind. Why? Why though? I mean, it says you're an atheist, right?
Former Christian.
Okay, former Christian. Are you a believer in something? Like, religious tied atheism or deism, or what are we talking about here? Let's contextualize the conversation.
Are you hoping to find grounds on which to build the topic of windows in my mind? Like, where am I coming from with the windows?
So if you're not wanting to talk about substance dualism and you want to say that my mind is separate from my body, then that can kind of be prefaced by saying that you follow a certain viewpoint. Or if you're trying to say that you've seen studies in science that have been better able to map brain activity, or if you had a really trippy experience where you thought somebody was reading your mind.
Oh, hold on.
Do you get what I mean?
Explain it with just this.
Sure.
Water wheel. The thing is, it wasn't really creative. But the thing, I know what a window is. I know what a mind is. And so, like water or wheel, I used windows into my mind, kind of describing the function of it.
I have no idea what you're saying. I mean, what? So first off, why do I care about what's going on in your brain?
Because what I have in my brain is what I use to find my way around in the world.
Okay.
Beliefs inform actions, and it's not necessarily my brain because I've expelled a lot of the stuff that I used to follow, but it's the minds of the people still in the religion.
Okay, so you're wanting to talk about the cognitive processes of believers. Is that about right?
More or less, yeah.
Okay. Why? Do you see value in talking about why believers? Because the thing is there are so many different believers who believe things for different reasons that I'm afraid if we go down that path, we're just going to straw man somebody or straw man an entire group. And do you see how it kind of makes me feel iffy?
If we want to talk about your specific processes of thought as a believer and then now as not a believer, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's see. But I really wanted to, diaries, how they're like a snapshot of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You go back to it, open it up, and it's like, did I really sound so snarky in my head?
Okay.
And that's what the movies are, in my view.
Wait, which movies? What movies are we talking about?
The animated story of Moonfi and Mormons.
Okay. So
Satan, it sounds like you're hinging what you're saying on an idea that we share a knowledge of what you're talking about, because you said the movies, but we don't know what the movies are. You know what I mean? So it's hard for us to understand what you're saying.
if you're building off of an argument or a discussion you were having on Truth Wanted, it's probably best to start from the beginning with us, because neither of us were on that show, so we don't know where you're coming from.
The topic that was on that show wasn't related to what I'm talking about now, and
Okay.
what is now isn't building upon what was said then.
Okay.
The thing is, I assume, and you're right, you guys don't have the knowledge to know what I'm talking about. And it's a bad habit that I realize that I have, that I just assume people have knowledge. And
yeah, in my life experience, that has let me down so many times.
Trouble.
Yeah. I mean, the worst is when I assume that I have knowledge. But go ahead, man.
Anyway.
Okay, so which movie are you talking about here? And why?
Animated series of the story of the Book of Mormon.
Okay.
Okay. What about it?
It definitely expounds on why the Mormon Church didn't let any black members hold the priesthood until I forgot what. I think it was 1980 something. When it was when outside pressures finally forced the church to reconsider that doctrine.
I think it was 76 or 78.
I do know the animated show you're talking about. I think I've seen clips of it.
I guess, Satan,
my concern is where are we going with this? How does this tie into your mind windows?
It might be better to do this as an email, to sit down and kind of get your thoughts out.
Yeah. And
then you can actually link us the video that you're talking about, so we can have a kind of a shared understanding of what's going on. That way it's not all, stifled. That might be a better method of communication.
You're right.
For sure. But
in light of this, I'm willing to give up. I mean, it's one thing to try horribly to get an idea that hasn't been fully thought out yet. But I think I'll try again sometime later.
Send us an email, and then maybe call in after we've talked on email, and then we'll have a better groundwork that we can then talk about.
Absolutely. And honestly, man, the fun of living this life is exploring. So don't ever give up, man. That's the fun part. All right. Take care, man.
You too.
Bye. Huh.
Water wheel.
Into the mind. So I charitable listening. We're doing our best, and there was a lot of charitable listening going on in there. The only thing that I can charitably say there is there are a lot of times when I thought I was entirely alone and I didn't have somebody to bounce things off of. Mm-hmm. And I wound up kind of spinning myself in circles to the point that when I finally did share it, it wasn't very coherent. And so hopefully the process of just writing things down can help out. And especially for those of you who also are trying to make sense of some of this, write it down. It helps. You can map it. You can actually, start to piece those things out.
Yeah, for sure. I am intrigued, though. Now I'm like, what is going on in his head? I want to know.
I know, right? I'm hoping.
Yeah, please actually do send that email because I will read it. I promise.
Is it bad that I'm hoping for conspiracy?
I just want to understand water wheel. It's going to be echoing in my brain all day.
Oh, sorry. I just got a note from the back saying that they're angry I hit the microphone. I'm sorry.
You're deducting it from your pay.
All the zero pay. Thank you.
Slashing that